So, the Arrow, it's available at a bunch of different websites. I'm not sure exactly where it's in stock, when it will be in stock, but it is available from Rampage Vapor, that website right there. And I'm just posting, a couple North America websites where it's available. It's also available at Aeon Vape. There is the link for Aeon Vape. Check them both out. I'm not sure what the situation is with stock, like I said. But the retail for it is $140. That's what it goes for on Rampage Vapor. I'm not sure about the price on other sites. But this is the Arrow right here. This little guy. Now, it is designed to cause my autofocus on my camera to not function. Nope. Super close. Pull away. Oh, almost in focus. We'll do a close-up. That's okay. Yes. Slocus didn't work that time. So, it is designed to match up with the Bagua from Yellowkiss. It is also 17 millimeters in diameter. It is 47 millimeters tall. It's 63 millimeters, including the exclusive drip tip. We'll talk about that in a little bit. The juice capacity on it is approximately 2.5 milliliters. The tank is made of Pyrex. The atomizer is made of 304 stainless steel, except for the center post, which is brass. The wick holes on it are 2.3 millimeter. The air holes are dual 1 millimeter, but they have adjustable airflow. We'll get to that in a little bit too. It has 2 juice intake or juice fill ports. Well, one is technically a juice fill port, and the other is designed to let air into the tank as juice wicks up. But you can use that as a fill port as well. The features of this are what make this really interesting, and this is an extremely innovative device. Maybe I would go so far as to say that this is the most innovative design on a atomizer, a Genesis-style atomizer that I have seen really since I started vaping. It's pretty awesome. You can set this up with single, dual, or U-wick. I've got it set up with a dual coil. I'll show you here in just a little bit. And then what it comes with is what you see here, the device with the proprietary drip tip. And it also comes with a Delrin drip tip if you would rather use a Delrin drip tip. This is also proprietary, which has the features I'll mention in a little bit. And it also has the Allen key for the screws inside the device. So, let's talk about the Arrow some more. The Addy deck on this is pretty tight. It's pretty tiny. I'm gonna take autofocus off here so I can show this to you. So bear with me one moment here. So this is the inside of the Addy deck. Okay, you can see that there. It's got that lip around the side that allows you to control the airflow, and it allows that to lock. So you've got the 2 wicks there, and then you see there's a hole in the center of the 2 wicks. That comes with a screw in there. And then there's a hole on the other side, which is the little air intake hole that I mentioned, and You're supposed to fill it through the one on the other side in between the two wicks, but I just filled it through the one on the other side. Shame on me. It is a wrap and trap style. You don't have to fiddle with the positive post, which makes it a lot easier to set up with a dual coil. You just wrap it and then trap the wire in between the bolt and in between the nut and the washer there. And as you can see on the lip, you've got this little air slot here on one side, and then on the other side you've got a little air hole that goes over the second wick there, and then it's got a single O-ring. Now on the inside of the top cap, this gets more interesting. Okay, you have on the inside of the top cap a second O-ring that traps the airflow and also juice flow in between those two O-rings. So what happens when you put this cap on is it seals the space in between this little ledge, or the top of this little lip here, and this little O-ring right here. That becomes airtight. Okay. Also, if you look closely inside the top cap there, you'll see that there's like two air slots in the top. The purpose of that, and I'll show you this on the Pyrex strip tip, just so I don't have to completely dismantle my setup here. I'm sorry, on the Delrin drip tip, not Pyrex strip tip. What am I saying? So, the way this drip tip works, there's no hole in the bottom. It's sealed. See that? Completely sealed. Now, but on the side, you have two holes. So, the way that this works is you put the drip tip in. This is when you want to use the device. You put the drip tip in and you line the drip tip up. You'll see on the side of the drip tip here there is a line, and there is also a line on the top cap. You want to line those up. That means the airflow is open. If you want to close it, you simply turn the drip tip to a lock position, which is basically opposite. Actually, you turn the drip tip until the line is lined up with a little dot there. That means that it's locked. And then turn it again, and it opens it up. Okay? So what that does is it prevents any juice from leaking out of the drip tip. Now, because you have the same type of, hold on a sec, because you have the same type of seal on the through the lip here with that double O-ring setup. Let me put the top cap back on. So you just line the air holes up, and you can see, I don't know if you can see here, but actually you definitely can because it's not focusing in. But you can see, kind of like with a Fugatti, you can see the air hole on the inside through the external air hole. So you line those up. You can adjust it however you want the draw. You know, you can adjust this cap so that the airflow is only coming through one hole if you want to set it up with one wick. I've got both air holes open because I have a dual wick setup, and I like using a dual coil with airflow passing over both coils. It's a personal preference of mine. So now you lock that drip tip, then you turn the top cap, and this thing becomes completely 100% leak proof. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to show this to you on the show because it takes a little bit of time, and I don't want to waste time. There have been other videos that have been posted about this anyway, so it's been done. But basically, you lock the top cap, you lock the drip tip, you turn this thing upside down, just hold it, set it down, upside down, whatever. You can watch the bubbles as the juice comes from the tank and fills up the atomizer top cap. And nothing comes out the air holes, nothing comes out the drip tip. It is completely leak-proof, completely pocketable Genesis-style atomizer. Now, what I will say that I did notice is, in order to truly utilize that function, you need to take out the fill hole. So, you remember how I showed you that it has two fill holes and one of them's got a plug in it? You got to take that plug out, because once you fill the top cap, The juice has a tough time getting back in unless there's one hole for the juice to go in and another hole for the air to come out. But there's no reason why you shouldn't take that plug out. So I mean, it doesn't do any harm to take it out. So just take it out, and then it makes it a completely pocketable device. You turn the top cap, turn the drip tip, turn it upside down, let it sit for a half hour if you want to. No juice. Shaking it, I tried everything. Nothing came out. It's amazing. Yeah, you got to let the juice drain back into the tank before you unlock it and start vaping it, or you'll get a mouthful of juice. So, but still, it's pretty awesome. It is really the first Genesis-style atomizer that is completely leak-proof. Awesome. How does it vape? Let me tell you how it vapes. It is a very, very small top chamber. You saw that when I took the cap off. There's very little room in there. And it's dual coil, which, as you guys know who watch my show, I love a dual coil setup, especially... I don't love a dual coil setup if there isn't airflow over both coils. If there is airflow over both coils, I absolutely love a dual coil setup. So, let's give it a vape. Very good. I'll take another hit on it. Very, very good. What is that? Yeah, it's delicious. So another thing I noticed about this is it wicks extremely well. I've got a dual coil setup in here, and it wicks really, really well. I barely have to tilt it. If I tilt it too much, I actually get over wicking. Now, I haven't set this up at as low ohm a coil as I typically vape, because I'm using it on a 14500 battery. I didn't want to go crazy. You know, the amp limit on a 14500 is not particularly high, and especially using a dual coil, I don't want to go nuts with it. So I'm vaping at about a 1 ohm or 1.1 ohm dual coil. But it's a fantastic vape. The vapor production is very good because you get the airflow over both coils. It's nice and hot and warm. As you can see, the vapor production is very good. The flavor is very good. It's very warm. It's very sharp flavor. The dual coil just adds that extra punch to it. It's got really good throat hit. It's awesome. And I just realized I need to replace the battery on this, but that's okay. I've been using it all day in the 14500 with a 14500 battery. So, but let me take one more vape on it. Yum. So, let's talk about kind of a summary of the positives and negatives. Positives. The design, so innovative. It's a leak-proof Genesis-style atomizer. Awesome. You'll lock it just like you would your mod when you put it in your pocket, except you do it twice. It's really not that complicated. It's dual coil, which I love. It's got a really tight top chamber, which even adds to the flavor, even more. I mean, we're talking about flavor that's comparable to that of like a mini micro or mini B. The flavor is exceptional. Maybe not quite as strong as the mini micro, but that thing just has the tiniest damn top cap I've ever seen. So, but very, very close. I also was vaping that at a higher wattage, so that could be the difference too. Vapor production is excellent. It's got a really nice draw to it, actually, with both air holes open and a dual coil. It's got the draws right around where I like, which is like a 1.2, 1.3 if you have both of those open. So, because 2 1mm air holes, if you add the area up, doesn't add up to 2 mm air hole. But I'm not going to do the math for you. Just trust me. So, the negatives. Really, the only negative with this device is I would not recommend this device to a beginner. There is not a lot of room to work with. That raised lip around the outside edge does make it a little tough to work with. It's not that bad. I mean, it wasn't like I spent hours and hours setting the thing up, but for somebody that's new, maybe looking for, you know, a first high-end atomizer or a first Genesis, certainly a first Genesis style atomizer, I wouldn't recommend it, even though I think it's amazing. And also, actually, that's really it. Yeah, I mean that's really the only negative that I can think of. Because it does actually have a pretty good juice capacity, especially for something so small. You know, it holds 2.5 milliliters of juice. You know, we're not talking like the mini micro where it holds like zero point 0.8 milliliters. You know, like this actually got a good amount of juice in it. So yeah, that's really it. It's just that it's tough to set up. You know, especially for someone with like giant sausage fingers like me. You know, the little tiny space in there. Um, it's not there's not a lot of space to work with. You know, and I mentioned that to Yellowkiss, who is the mod maker, and he's from Korea. So just so you know, he said this to me, so I'm not being racist. He goes, "It's easy for us because Asians have small hands." So he said that, not me. I'm just repeating it. I thought it was kind of funny. So, but yeah, for we large sausage fingered American folk, it's a little tough to work with in the small space there. But the result, the performance that you get from it, yeah, I know he's in the room. The result from the you know, setting it up with a dual coil, the performance that you get from it is absolutely phenomenal. I love the device. It is a keeper. I'm going to hang on to this one. It gets a big thumbs up for me. So yeah, if you like a dual coil, get it. If you want a device that's not going to leak, get it. You know, if you're not afraid to work in a little small space, definitely get it. So, all right, very good. So that is the Arrow by Yellowkiss, which is actually a collaboration between e-cig gear and Team Rampage mods. So, but designed by Yellowkiss. So.